All right, so podcast 7, we just finished up with an unusual 6.5.
Yeah.
A second episode with Bob Boland.
Man, I could talk to that dude for weeks.
God, he is nerdy.
Oh, yeah.
He's a nerd. And he wasn't afraid of just saying, I'm a nerd.
No,
And I was like,
not at all.
cool.
I've had many lengthy conversations with Bob over the years. We nerd out.
Let me tell you what. I
blast.
personally, with how long I've been in the industry, I don't know. I learned like 5 or 6 things.
Did you learn something, or was it just like,
Or a refresher. I don't know.
or was it just like a holy shit, this can't be real? This is way too deep, and it's way too much information for the average person to even care about.
Like we're in space or something.
Oh yeah, it can get deep.
We were up in space.
Yeah.
Well,
Bob's awesome.
so we're back for another podcast, and we're solo again.
7.
And it's not because we haven't had people want to come in this. It's because we felt that we need to break it up a little bit and not just be like guest. But
What's my favorite phrase? We needed to pump the brakes.
back it up, Terry.
Back it up, Terry.
Back it up, Terry.
We live in video clips.
There's so many good ones out
Aaron,
there.
how was your day?
I spent all day with Oliver.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Haley was gone, and I spent from the moment I woke up to him waking me up. Because I just got back from Canada yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I was up there in Manitoba fishing for some big northern pike. Spoiler alert for Fish Addictions fans. It's episode later in the year.
Mm-hmm.
But we did, we're going for big northern pike out in the bush, middle of nowhere. Gone for a couple days, just got back. So I was super tired, and I really, really, really wanted to just sleep a little bit longer. And
man had other plans.
yeah, she left early in the morning, and I had to wake up early as well. Not as early as like what you wake up at, but it was early for me.
Yeah.
And so I spent the day with Oliver, and he was super chill all day. A little crankiness once in a while, but we watched his favorite show, Chuggington. And it's a choo-choo train where it's like Chuggington, and they're like just a bunch of trains that are like they can like jump up in the air and like fly around. It's like crazy. You got to be on something.
Sounds like witchcraft.
To really enjoy it. But I've gotten into it a few times where I've just stared at it and been like, all right. And then he's looking at me, and all of a sudden the theme song comes on, and I'm just like, Chuggington. I get into it. He also likes Furchester Hotel or Furchester Motel. It's like with the puppets,
Okay.
the like Cookie Monster and that kind of stuff, and it's based in this hotel. But does he even like them? I have no idea, but that's what we put on, as well as like 30 other shows plus movies.
Yeah, I approve.
Keeps him busy.
Yeah, you don't want to start him out with something like Breaking Bad or Sons of Anarchy or anything
Dexter.
like that. Or Dexter,
Not quite yet.
Yeah, no.
But he, it helps him with his motor skills, and he smiles, he looks, he bounces around, and it kept me busy. I also made a teaser for the Fish Addictions episode, Cross Bay, Manitoba, the one that will air later this year. Kind of doing a vlog series, so maybe I'll put some shots of that up there.
And I got to see it.
And you got to see it hours after, one of the first people.
Oh, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's just another thing. We're just wanting to do like a vlog, more personable teaser trailer, but you feel a little more personal because it's just us goofing around in the road trip and, throwing jokes at each other and packing. Some of the stuff you don't see in TV shows is what's kind of going to be placed in these. So while he was watching TV, I was rocking that out, as well as putting like 7 different cards I had to import, footage-wise. Start to categorize them, import them into my applications, my programs, and he was just bouncing around. So that was my day. Now, your day, I don't know how your day was, but I'm sure you'll tell me in a second, but I do know how your day turned out in the end, so I'd like to hear that.
Fantastic. So let's rewind today and let's go back to 9 p.m. 9 p.m. I decided to pull the plug on the operation. Time to shut down the machine. I was tired.
Last night?
Last night.
Oh, yeah.
9:30ish. Went to sleep right away.
It's because you had to wake up at...
Well, then I was up at 12:35 in a panic, like I overslept. I'm like, holy cow. I still got like 4 hours to sleep. This is awesome.
Some of the best moments is when you wake up in the middle of the night thinking it's morning and you're like, all right, I'm ready to go. And then you look at the clock and you're like, hell yeah, another 3 hours. I get to sleep. And then you wake up 3 hours later and you're like, damn it.
If you do.
Yeah.
Okay. So I go back to sleep. 2:43 a.m. I jolt up. I'm going to be late. Look at the clock. Oh, yeah. Nope. Still got a couple hours of sleep left. There was a storm that went through.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I didn't hear anything, but maybe that's what woke me up, but I didn't hear it, if that makes any sense.
Well, so when I was pulling into Grand Forks yesterday, you could just see it in the sky coming, and Haley's texting me the clouds. You got to go quick once you get there. I'm like, okay. Tornado warnings were, happening there. So I was like, damn, this is coming right for where we currently are. We had 20 more minutes to drive and then switch vehicles, and I had to drive all the way to Bemidji. And when we got there, we unpacked, and I'm like, see you, boys. I need to beat this thing. And not only 20 minutes later, I was ahead of it by 15 minutes the whole way. You could just see it lightning behind you,
Nice.
Wind was blowing. Then I got here, and it was windy and lightning and everything. While I was laying in bed, I could see it flash through the window.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was an all-night storm.
Well, yeah. And so, but I get up on time for work, and everything is cool, groovy. I stop at the gas station, get some power steering fluid for the old Jeep. Starting to whine when I turn left. Do that. Got an apple fritter because I didn't have breakfast.
A little breakfast.
Yep. And work. The work day starts. What's going on?
There you go. When you turn towards me, yeah.
Oh, anyway. Work day starts at 6. Everything's going great, right? Had a fantastic day at work. I'm still in my work clothes, and there's a reason why. Go to leave. It's 4:30. We're going to do a podcast. I'm super psyched up, right? Reach. Door's locked.
Do you usually lock your door?
No. For some reason, I did.
All locked, all of them?
Yeah, I locked my keys in the Jeep. But my buddy Spencer, he hung back. We used his gold AAA card. He's like, dude, I got AAA. I'm like, ring it up.
VIP.
Yeah. So it took a little bit, but we got her out. So, yeah, I locked my keys in my Jeep. So
your day was all right until
then. I mean, it wasn't a total
break.
disaster, but I was super hungry, and like I just wanted to get up here to the studio and
drop some knowledge on some people or some chatter.
Not knowledge.
Yeah, no.
No,
there will
just
be.
chatter.
There's no. Yeah, there's not. It's not going to be nerdy like last podcast, but we do have some topics to hit.
Right.
And you made a little list, and I approve
Seriously,
of this
it's
list.
really tiny. Check it out on a Post-it
But
note.
but one of the things I wanted to cover without even looking at the list, but I know it's on there. I text you maybe yesterday, and maybe
I never
the day
read
before
your
that.
texts.
Yeah, I didn't figure. And it was about bow hunting has started. Goose hunting has also started. And I wanted to talk about the opener of bow hunting and the reasoning or questioning why I'm not seeing a lot of dead deer in social media. Have you noticed you're scrolling through social media, is anyone killing deer?
Yeah.
You're seeing them? I have zero friends that are trail pictures all day,
Yeah, and part of it could be, it's the first weekend of a long season.
Yeah, it is a long season.
So some guys, they
usually opening day, there's 4 or 5 right away.
Yeah.
The hardcores are out and they're killing
the
deer they've been stalking for the last couple weeks.
And some of the bow hunters that I know of are straight up bone hunters. They've been following this deer for 3 or 4 years. They found all of its sheds. They know, they're just waiting for it to get to that prime, like
The prime spot.
the prime age where it's at maximum growth. Those are the bow hunters I know. And like I said, I think it's
Early.
it goes until what, December 31st? Yeah. I mean,
I'm just used to like rifle opener where it's like,
well, you got
have
3
2
weeks.
3 weeks, and
Yeah.
you're just got to get it. And I just used to seeing it. I'm seeing trail pictures, but I'm not really seeing much of anything that interests me. And it's like a perfect fall, you know.
And I think early in this season, from what little I know about, deer behavior is, we're not even close to a rut or anything like that.
No.
So it's, the deer really aren't moving.
Just think with that cool breeze, and it's we think winter's coming quick, that they would be moving, grinding, eating as much as possibly. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've seen a lot of photos of trail cam pictures. Anthony had a huge one that he showed me, and Saturday here we are driving to, Canada, and he's like, oh, miss an opener, and there's just 2 days worth of giant, big rack, and hopefully he'll get it here in the next couple of days, and maybe I'll post the picture if he gets it. But
man, those trail cams are cool, but it would drive me nuts. Just think if it had like some sort of like trail cam for fishing, and I'd be like, oh my god, look at that!
You could stick it in. You could stick it down in the water at a location, and it can take pictures. That would be cool. Let's invent that. Is that like legal?
I don't see why it wouldn't be illegal.
But fish trail cam. Put it out in front of their home. Knock, knock. Sticking it in.
Let's not do that. That's just more shit that I...
Oh, my God. There's a 2-pounder. I need to go sit on that hole for hours, see if I can catch it. Well, Mike now has... He's like best... Mike with Fish Addictions, of course, is best $10 investment a month is to get the trail cam photos as they happen. They get sent by cell signal to his phone.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, I mean, that's been around for a while, but are you kidding me? Like, technology is to the point where you can stick a camera out in the middle of the woods, if it has cell reception, and it can ping photos as they happen right to your phone.
I'm just...
In the middle of the woods.
We're that's voyeurism.
Oh, yeah?
If deer had rights... That's creepy.
Deer have rights. They're out picketing.
Quit spying on me.
Deer have rights.
I don't. I mean, the trail cam thing's really cool. But it would drive me insane. I fished. With cameras.
Would it drive you
underwater.
insane because you would constantly be getting photos, or because you're like, you need to be there right now?
Well, like take for instance bear hunting. You get these big boars and sows coming in. Weeks prior to while you're baiting, and you're like, oh my god. But it's that, he came in 20 minutes after.
Oh,
after
that always happens.
Like,
the biggest buck out there always comes in 15 minutes after dark. And it smiles right at the camera and says, fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's, if I was to get into hunting, though, again, I was home in Side Lake this weekend. Talking, helping my mom out. She just had surgery on her back. She's doing good. I was talking with my dad, and, he's been a rifle hunter his whole life, but he was like, man, I wouldn't mind getting into this bow hunting thing. And then
crossbow?
Then he goes, crossbow. He goes, I can...
Well, the older you get, you can legally get the crossbow.
Yeah. And then I said, oh, yeah. And he said, yeah, I could just sit right here and shoot them right out of the yard. Because I wouldn't even have to wear orange. I wouldn't even have to wear pants if I didn't want to.
Just be naked out there shooting deer.
Schlink.
Oh, there's Dad's out on the porch rocking the chair.
He's
Schling.
fed up with deer. They're like mosquitoes to him. They're just annoying. But
we have had a couple friends get some bears lately.
Yeah.
Bear season has been doing pretty damn good for the people that I've talked to. Like Brewer's wife got one. Just seeing...
Tony Mariotti got one.
Just seeing photos of bear on social media makes me think, well, it was a good year. And that's based on social media,
Did you see Matt's BFF, Tim Birch?
Tim did get one. Like
404 pounds.
That's a bear.
Beast.
Remember last podcast we were talking about polar bears?
Yeah.
We were sitting in Canada.
Polar bears
6 foot waves. We got around. We were 10 miles away from our camp in the middle of the lake, and 6-foot waves, and you're rocking, you see a far, far shoreline, and there's white sitting on the shoreline. It could be pelicans, could be anything, but it was distance, and they were decently sized. And all I could think of as I'm rocking up and down, I'm like, polar bears. There's polar bears.
That'd be so awesome.
But yeah, so goose hunting has
Yep.
been a success because, again, my social media is blown up with people getting 7-man limit, 8-man limit,
Yeah.
4-man limit. I mean, we
So,
talked.
But a mutual friend of ours, Donnie Mans. Do you know Donnie?
Yeah.
Yeah, him and a couple other dudes. They got in one shoot. They got 5 geese with bands on them.
Ooh,
Like-
around here?
I did well, of course. Not gonna say, but they're not gonna say, but
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
probably not too far.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah. And duck hunting opens up.
Usually,
this weekend.
when the family they get band together, usually if you get one, you're gonna get more than one because they usually get band together if they're like
Yeah.
partners, like family type deal. So I mean, that's a good turnout. But
Mhm.
yeah, I have been seeing just stacks of geese, you know, on trucks and on the ground and by decoys, and it's just like
Are they mostly shooting Canadian honkers?
that's
or,
from what I've seen. I'm not
'cause
seeing
when's that
really
big,
lessers.
That big the big snow goose bust where you just see like pickup loads full of
Well,
them things.
right now, but just not here.
Just not
Right?
here.
I don't think I've ever looked up in the
They're
sky and
still
been like,
north.
oh, there's a ton of snow geese, you know, flying around here. It's just not. You go into Canada, though, and we saw snow. We were out 6 miles in the middle of the lake, and 3 snow geese flew over us. And Mike looks over and like, are those snow geese? And I'm like, damn,
Mhm.
that's snow geese. But yeah, you go south right now, there's snow geese south, and they're getting pounded. Probably some still north. We're working it. I would say they're still north. But yeah, a lot of Canadians. Not really much lessers or anything like that I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of just full-on big honkers and
Big
you know,
honkers.
big honkers. And
All right.
yes, so it
Take
looks
me
like
with
it's
ya.
a successful goose
Yeah.
season so far, and we have coming up. I believe it's this month. Goose Fest up north of us. Matt Brewer always
Is that in Thief River
up
or Middle River?
Middle River. Yeah.
Middle River. Yeah.
So yeah, Matt Brewer goes up there, but yeah, we it's just good to see that because there's been years in the last 8 years where you question how good Minnesota goose season is, because it's like, all right, are the birds, the flight patterns not here? Usually in Bemidji, it's not that good.
Really?
No. A lot of people I know, they drive 30, 40 minutes in another direction, which I'm not going to say, which I've already slightly mentioned in a podcast before, but they drive 30, 40 minutes in another direction to get geese, just because that's like a better fly zone.
Right.
And here, and maybe it's because it's more cornfields in
Right,
another
that makes
direction
sense.
than around here. But it's usually, I mean, okay, I'm going to get, I can feel the hate messages coming in. Well, I hunt up here and it's good. It's like, well, I've hunted a lot up here and I know a lot of hunters. Plus, I worked for the Fowl Life, which is a huge, outdoor show. I know flight patterns. I know a little bit of this and that. And Bemidji's never been amazing. Like, oh my God, this is like
Well, yeah,
Missouri. You can
you've
get 30,000,
You've seen
15,000.
amazing.
Huh?
You've seen amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
When you get
something to gauge.
400 or 500 locking in on you or more than that, that's cool. It's not like snow goose hunting when there's 30,000 above you circling in. Like that's cool. But
Yeah.
you don't. I mean, once in a while you see, snow geese flying through, but it's not. You can go drive by and see a puddle with 30 in it, and that's to an average, college kid around here. They're like, "Yep, we need to follow that 30. Wherever those 30 go, that's where we want to be hunting." Yeah, but you go somewhere else, and it's like there's, that 1,000, that's where we want to go, or that 600, that's where we want to follow. It's just not been amazing up here. So to wrap it all back, to find out that the season from social media standpoint looks great, I think that's a good bonus. I don't know if the flyways changed or what it is, but they seem to be doing a good
Cool.
goose season. I've been seeing a lot of bucks on trail cam pictures, which makes me think that it's a good season for bucks as well. Duck season hasn't started yet, right?
I think that starts this weekend.
So that by the time this airs, duck season will be open, and we'll recap that at another time.
Man,
And see, here's another thing.
loved it.
I do not see a whole lot of ducks flying around right now.
No.
I have seen, fields with geese, few ducks mixed in, but
I think to get those
Not
ducks
seeing
kicking
ducks.
and moving, it's got to get colder and nastier.
exactly. I think it needs to drop a little bit to really get them. And that's a waterfaller's dream for duck hunting. They need to be bundled up. It needs to be freaking snowing on them, and they need to be buzzing a river or something, because that's when they're really the ducks are hitting cornfields, they're hitting water holes, water sloughs, they're moving, they're fast, they're thick, they're just flying all over. Right now it's like I don't see any.
They have no reason.
That was
to
up in
fly.
Canada.
They have no reason to leave.
Exactly.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful out. I was just up in Canada. It was 45 degrees one day, but the other 2 days we were there, beautiful.
Yeah.
There was a little humidity, beautiful. And
I did a lot of duck hunting when I was younger, in my teens, and that's what I remember. Like, duck hunting it was colder than ice fishing.
yeah, it was crappy weather.
You're
You
sitting on
want
the edge of a half.
if it's raining,
If
it's crappy cold,
sleet.
perfect.
Yeah.
And I'm
It
like,
was so fun.
I'm like, cue Netflix. Like, I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. There something up in Canada. Like I said, we did see a lot of geese, and we did come up on a good number of ducks just driving the boat around the lake. But there's so many water areas up there that you only see 0.5%. But there's something for duck hunting, and I don't know. I'd like to see what other people think, because for me, I've traveled the country doing duck and goose hunting, and my favorite was flooded timber.
You know what? I've seen pictures of it, and I've seen some videos of where you just you walk around in hip waders or chest
Well,
waders.
you drive that four-wheeler, right up in there. You park it, or you even drive a boat, depending on how thick water depth-wise. You get out, you're in full chest waders, usually, just depending.
Against a tree and
Lean against a tree, screw a little anchor point in to hang your calls or whatever you want,
if you
your
wore a
gun.
squirrel costume, would that help?
I don't think so.
Or a raccoon?
I don't think
I'd
so.
wear a raccoon costume.
a raccoon
Well, yeah,
costume.
try to blend in, look natural.
I think a squirrel would be great.
That'd be pretty cool.
There's something about a 4-foot gap that a duck can come in, hover above that gap, and drop straight down. When you think of, you watch geese, right? And they need a landing zone. They come in like a quarter mile out, and they're locked up, and they come in all beautiful. But ducks, I mean, if it's a beautiful location and you have like a 4-foot hole, if that, and they come just straight down, and once they're in the trees, and they can fly around inside, oh my God! And you're standing in water, and you're trying not to get bit by a water moccasin, and you got all these ducks coming in. That's prime. But of course, we don't have anything like that up here. So, but we're used to sloughs, river systems, lakes.
Yeah.
I would rather do like a little pond. You got to find. And another thing here in Bemidji is the college kids. When it's a weekend, it's the worst time to go duck hunting, or the worst time to go goose hunting, because the college kids, that's when they're out. So every public place that you know of is screwed. You want to go like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday.
Right.
That's when you want to go duck hunting. If you're going to use public land, and if you're using private land, then you should be okay either way. But yeah, water moccasins.
No, that's all right.
It's winter. It's winter time typically, so they're moving slow. But when you see a stick coming at you, you better look down just to make sure it's
I'd
a
shoot
stick.
it right in the face.
They're slow, but they're
Doesn't
like,
matter.
ooh, what's that? I was in a situation where I had another camera guy, and we're flooded timber, 5 water moccasins slowly start coming towards him. What do we do as cameramen? We're looking up
Right.
in the trees and at the people and up, and all of a sudden you look down, you have 5.
Back up, Terry.
Yeah. We're like, Terry, back it up, Terry. What you doing, Terry? Like, back it up. They threw him a gun. He popped all 5. Put the camera up on the hook. Pop, pop, pop. Kept on with the day. Like, I said, forget that. Like, I was doing a turkey hunt in, it was a Benelli turkey hunt shoot in Missouri. And we're walking out, and it's, turkey season. And I'm walking out there thinking, all right, this is good. It's not cold. This is what I'm all about. And turkey hunting is very hard to film. Especially if you want to get multiple angles, unless you're sitting in a little shack, a little house type deal. And he puts me on a brush pile, and I don't think twice. I just sit down. I'm sitting there like, okay. And I'm I'm on my phone scrolling through Facebook, and all of a sudden he texts me, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, if you hear a crack or a stick break, make sure to turn and look." And I said, "Well, why is that?" He's like, "Well, a few things: rattlers, scorpions." I'm like,
How
water
big are the scorpions
moccasins.
if they're breaking brush?
Well, yeah,
Damn.
yeah, that's another thing. But like, come on, a rattlesnake? And you didn't tell me this before I sat down on this brush pile?
Yeah.
So from the rest of the time, I'm just looking left, looking right, looking behind me, looking all around. I'm like, this is stupid. Forget the turkey. I'm just looking around.
I know. I lived in eastern Kentucky, and yeah, I've seen giant dead rattlers on the road and rattlesnakes.
It's
and
stupid. This is why we live here.
black
You know, we don't have
widows.
anything that really gets you. I was in Kansas doing a shoot, and we get in there, and he's like, "Make sure you put your shoes up on the chair." I'm like, "Why do I want to put shoes up in the chair?" And then I look to the left, and in the sticky trap is a scorpion.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You don't have to worry about your." The other guy said, "You don't have to worry about your shoes." And I was like, "Okay." He's like, "You can leave them on the ground. Just check them before you put them on." And I said, "I'm not used to that, but okay." I'm like, "I'm gonna be safe. Put them up in the chair." He's like, "No, you got to be worried about when you're sleeping at night and they crawl in the bed and start staining you." I said, "Are you kidding me? Give me a bottle. I'm gonna just drink myself to sleep
Yeah, you know
and
what?
move on."
They knew that they were dealing with a northern boy, and we do the same thing with the southern boys. I get
Ugh.
them up here in the wintertime and like, yeah, let's just cut across this field. And then you're like, wow, okay. And, oh, hey, check it out. Pull up your phone, like we're sitting over 56 feet of water, and they just lock up. Oh, shit. Oh.
But that's not as bad as something like eating you or like killing you.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a different story there, mixed
good.
with a bunch of my garbage. But
No, it's
fall, waterfall, ducks, geese, bucks,
bucks,
bow hunting,
grouse,
and
rabbits, all that good
I
stuff.
almost feel like someone sent us something.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember someone sent us a post of something that mentioned it was the bait shop. So episode
John,
was
yeah.
it 1? We
Yeah.
talked about Tabor's bait, or 2? No, 2 or 3. 3 maybe.
Yeah,
All right, one of the
something like that.
episodes, you're going to have to look back. We talked about Tabor's bait closing, and we asked the viewers out there, if anyone that watched or listened, we asked them what would be another recommendation for a bait shop in Bemidji.
Yep.
And a
it's
guy reached out who worked at, I believe, Senex,
Senex off Highway 2 south of
so
town.
across from Pete's Place South.
Yep.
And he said that they get their bait from 2 different suppliers.
Yep.
He's going to look that up off of his phone to see if he can find it. Cause,
Yep. Got it right here.
so he can read it to you what this guy said.
All right. It says, I can also answer some questions about Senex bait station or bait situation. We get a majority of our bait supply from Rocky's Bait out of Eveleth, Minnesota, which pretty close to where I grew up. And we also get a portion of it from North Country Bait in Park Rapids. They have tons of tackle ranging from summertime stuff, crank baits, bass, walleye, plastics, jig heads, and all different baits in the ice fishing world. Plastics and a wide variety of spoons, jigging baits, and a bit of tungsten baits too. And I've been in there many times, and they do have a really
They do have
pretty
it's
solid.
It's a nice little section.
Yep.
Plus they do have minnows and that kind of stuff.
They have live
there.
bait, so there's an option in the.
And who said that?
that?
Shout out to
Big shout out to John Peter Seeley.
hopefully we said that right.
I think so. I've met John before. I first met John when I was helping Darwin Sumner up on the Red Lake Indian Reservation, and he was the first young guy to hop in a float tube, and now he owns one of my float tubes. He loves it.
Boom.
It just took one kid to jump in there, and then it was
Awesome.
me and Maddie Newell. I'd pick kids up out of a float tube. As I was in mine, I had 2 float tubes at the time. All right, you're done. Okay, next one, drop in. Matt was there with his boat, and
It's crazy.
yeah, and now he owns one of my float tubes. He's a good dude.
Flow
He's a good
tubing is a subject that one day we need to hit based on your experience with them. Now you say you don't have them anymore.
dude. Yeah,
but- It's a cool way to fish. I mean, you're
regret-
sitting in a big inner tube, like you're gonna float down the river with a can of beer, right? Like those college kids, but it's fishing
Yeah,
version.
mine was U-shaped.
Yeah.
So it was open in the front, and it just had a mesh and a spreader bar in the front, and yeah, you just put on swim trunks and some flippers,
And you just flip your feet in whatever direction you want to.
Takes about 10, 15 minutes to learn how to turn, and I don't have them anymore. I sold them because I hadn't used them for so many years because I got a new boat and all that kind of stuff. But now I really miss having that option.
It's a cool
and they're
thing.
inexpensive. Mine were like $200, and they worked great.
Just a dude in an inner tube kicking to get to a location, fishing. It's just when you think of, how do you fish? Oh, I shore fish. Oh, I fish out of a boat, or I fish out of this. Like that's unique. You fish out of a tube.
It's super unique, and what I really liked about it was it limited the amount of stuff you could bring. You know, like I got this really nice boat, right? I bring everything I own. Okay, I don't really pay as much attention to what I'm doing because I've got all my tackle, all the different rods with me. When you're float tubing, you really got to think like, okay, what do I want? How do I want to do this? Because you can only bring 1 or 2 rods and a handful of tackle.
Yeah.
But what I really got out of it, it makes you a little bit better angler because you've really got to refine your presentation if you want to be successful on a float tube. But what I really, really got out of it was just there's no motor, there's no gas, it's peace, quiet. I'm floating around, I'm kicking. There's deer on shore drinking water, 12 feet from me. They have the same look on their faces when I'm, getting out of my float tube and somebody's at a boat landing and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm float tube fishing." Like, wow, I've never seen that before.
It's like kayak fishing, but you're like in the water and it's a tube.
And so if there's anybody out there that thinks they're stuck on shore fishing, just Google search float tubes for fishing, and it's an inexpensive way to get you offshore and out.
Get you in some of them weed beds.
Get you out in the lake. You can kick. If you want to float tube Lake Bemidji, you got the endurance, you can. Now, here's the one thing, though, that I did run into. And I actually asked the game warden about, do I need to wear a life jacket? Or do I have to have a flag? And the 3 game wardens I asked over the years couldn't give me a straight answer.
Do you have to have a flag just for sitting in the inner tube?
They
could,
a
weed bed, and you're swimming.
And they said, well, for the life jacket, it would probably be a wise choice. We understand you're basically sitting on a life jacket.
Yeah.
The foam seat that I sat on was like 8-inch thick foam, and the back was foam. So if I pop both my tubes, I'm still got something to float on. But you said if you were to have a heart attack or something like that, you could slip out. But if you have a life jacket on, you're going to be floating. I said, yeah, that makes sense. A guy should. At the same time, float tubes aren't really designed for big water. So I was always fishing.
Or waves. I would want it to be a nice, calm afternoon.
I'm usually on some little tiny lake or some stretch of the Mississippi River. I've done that a couple of times. And that's where I guess you really don't need a flag for that. But if I was, for some reason, out, like, I'm going to try to catch muskie on a float tube, which I wanted to do out on Lake Bemidji, I'd probably put a flag on me.
You get pulled around?
Or I wouldn't want to get drilled by another boat.
Yeah.
But that's a really cool way, because when I first moved back to Minnesota, that's what we bought were 2 float tubes, and we had a little Chevy Cavalier, and you fold them upright, you fit 2 boats in the trunk of that car. 2 boats. You can fit a boat in the trunk of your car with a float tube. It can get you offshore, and it's relaxing. You're cooled off. It's just fun.
So basically, that's an alternative fun way to open water summer fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like you're floating down a river.
I've done it in late fall before. I did it with a guy, Michael Thompson. Call him MT, or as you know, a Darth Wader. He actually introduced me to float tube fishing, and he came up in October. I think it was October 2009. And I just had cheap flippers from like Target, but I had some waders that had little, not the full boot, but just like the sock sewn on them.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get them on. I couldn't get my flippers on with those neoprene sock deals. Booties.
I've seen those waterproof sock deals.
Yeah, and so I
That's
just
crazy.
I just went out in my swim trunks in late October. It was cold. It was very, very cold. But ice rods over the side, vertical jigging crappies, just hammered them. It was pouring rain.
I think it'd be super cool to be in the water catching bass or crappie or
Yeah.
any panfish.
Yeah, I've got.
They're like coming up in between your legs. You're like, psh.
I'll have to
nice
find
size.
that footage for you. I got a bunch of footage of flow tubes. Or I even have.
You have some on
awkward-
YouTube.
Yeah.
So over that talk, we may throw up some video of you doing that just to
Flow
bring
tube.
back some
I got pictures. And all
some
kinds of
memories
stuff.
there, just so people kind of get an idea, because it is a cool way to do it, and it's just another thing. So I don't know how we got on that subject, but flow tubing is cool, and it's still summertime, so it's good that we just kind of threw that out there, because you're the only person I've ever known to do float
I know
tubing.
we talked about shooting even
Shooting an episode
an
or something
episode.
stupid crazy like that would be
Yeah.
cool. But yeah, I've never seen anyone else do
I'll tell you
float
what,
tubing.
I'm gonna throw this out there right now. If we do the Rainy River again,
Sturgeon.
no walleyes.
Oh, I would say sturgeon would be fun.
Maybe I'll
Do that.
have a flow tube by then and a like 5 or 7 millimeter chest waders.
Just be floating by us.
Just throw me out of Mike's boat. I'll try to get some walleyes out of
Unreal.
that flow tube.
So
No,
it's
I'll probably get
but
arrested
yeah,
for that.
I've never known anyone to use a float tube. So if some people might be like, "What the hell's a float tube?" Now you know what a float tube is for open water fishing. It's a step down from a boat, step down from a kayak, but a step up from shore fishing.
Exactly.
You can float right
Perfect.
through a weed bed in a tube that you would almost it's not like a circle tube. I've seen yours as like a horseshoe, and you just it has spots for like your tackle.
Yep, it's got 2 big
And you-
zipper pockets. Matter of fact, it kind of wraps around and it kind of hooks up. And behind you, there's a mesh pocket, and it's a live well. You can throw fish back there.
There you go. So if you're interested in that, look that up or send us a message, and he'll talk nerdy
Yeah.
with you about those. Help
I'll
you out.
Send you all the information you want on flow tubes. It's super cool.
What do we got for? I know there's that smartphone thing you wanted to talk about.
Well, yeah. You know, everybody now has a smartphone. And everybody, I don't know about everybody, because as soon as Apple drops a new phone, out come the Android people. And at the same time, it's kind of like, dude, that's so 2009. Why are you still,
Yeah,
who cares?
we talked about. So Apple dropped the iPhone 8 and the
10.
the number 10, and people question, well, what happened to 9? Well, it's their 10th year anniversary for iPhone, so it kind of makes sense. And all the Android people are like, wireless charging? Psh, we've had that for 2 years.
Why didn't you talk about it? Why don't you use it?
You guys use the glass. You guys now took our glass. Now that's our glass. How you make your glass and
Who cares?
all this stupid. So I saw a meme that said,
Chevy took Ford's steering wheel.
yeah, I saw.
Uh-oh.
I took a meme that said, I saw a meme of a guy sitting there like this, looking down at his hand in a cupped position, and it said like iPhone, like these aren't going to be in order, but like iPhone 6, and it was maybe it went like to 7, like no headphone jack, and then number 8, no charging, wireless charging, and then number 10, and then it's just
Empty.
empty. It's an invisible phone. They just keep taking away things.
Right.
They take away the charging. You can do wireless charging, but they took it away, but in a sense. So smartphones. Everyone has smartphones.
Yep.
And who doesn't okay, again, not everyone has smartphones, but the people who do have smartphones,
If you don't have a smartphone, I have questions.
questions to ask. And
Yeah,
there's tons of different apps.
You're a photographer. You're a videographer. What would be...
Should I go through my collection?
Yeah, what would be some of your... we'll start out with just apps. Some of your favorite apps for editing photos and or videos, because there's a lot of apps that do both now, which is kind of handy.
There is. Okay, so let's see. I have some that I don't have downloaded right now. that I actually wanted to try and pull up, but I have Camera Plus.
I have that one too. It's awesome. It doesn't do video though. Camera Plus is just photo.
Doesn't do, yeah, so let's type in photography here. Let's pull it up.
I guarantee you probably have Snapseed. Or had at
Adobe
once.
Lightroom.
Adobe Lightroom.
Yep.
Interesting.
Adobe Photoshop Express.
Now, talk about Photoshop Express. Do you have to
Adobe Photoshop Mix. Nope, it's a totally separate deal. You don't have to have anything with Photoshop.
So it's not a plugin
or
app
Lightroom for your computer. Of course, for my computer, I do have Photoshop and Lightroom.
Right.
And for photos, one for manipulation, one for photo editing, and no correlation. Same thing, yes. But
yeah, and Adobe is a leader in that kind of stuff. So I should get it.
So I have iMovie for my my phone. Now, when I see people on like YouTube where they do Windows Movie Gallery or iMovie for a video, I'm like, you know, you get that weird look on my face. I'm like, use like iMovie, like a free app that, you know, is like the basic generic, which again, some people, that's totally fine. I'm not bashing anyone. But when it comes to the phone, I use iMovie for sure because I think it's the number one best video app for phone-wise.
If you're saying like somebody shot some video and then they put it in their... They
put it in their computer and then they put it in iMovie, which is basic.
I get that.
But from your phone, iMovie is awesome. iMovie is the number one, I think, for Apple, the number one video editing program. Now, for Android people, man, it was just on the tip of my tongue. What was... I'll come back to it because I know the Android one. It's something... No, not even going to go. I'll figure it out. And then I have DJI Go. DJI Go 4, and that's for like the drone, the Osmo, that kind of stuff. I have an app called Manual, and it's a manual camera, so you can change the settings like I would in a DSLR. Camera Plus. I have Narbox, which I just ended up getting not too long ago, and that's so I can... Oh,
I saw that picture on your Facebook.
Yeah,
what
so I
is
can...
Narbox?
So I can take... I'm out in Canada, no cell phone service. Let's say I have cell phone service, actually. And I film something on my 4K camera. I'm sitting there filming 4K. You do a talk, and you're like, this week we're giving away a hat, and the person who won this hat is blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, all right, I want that 30-second clip on Instagram, on Facebook in 20 minutes. I take the card out of my camera, and I put it in this Narbox, turn it on, and it sends a Wi-Fi signal to my phone. I open up the app, and I can edit that clip, color correct it, add a music track to it, whatever I want. I can edit it almost like I'm sitting here editing on like Final Cut Pro or After Effects or anything like that.
Shit. Wow.
And then from there, I can save it as a 4K file, and then I can upload it right to Instagram. So could I also just bring up iMovie and do that same exact thing? Yes. But if I film my drone and I bring it down, and then I film you catching a fish, and then you do the hat giveaway, but then I also want to add over the top of you, I want to add a drone shot, and I want to add you holding up a fish, and then take those three and put it into a timeline, add those 3 shots, color correct all of them, add a little small music track to them, and then render it out at 4K. Can't do that with your phone because you can't put the other footage in.
Right.
Then I have the basic GoPro app, so I can see the GoPro. I also have GoPro Quick and GoPro Splice. Those are both GoPro editing apps.
Okay.
The original GoPro app is for viewing, so you can view what the GoPro is seeing.
Okay.
Then I have some Chinese, Japanese app. That's for my gimbal, which is a Chinese, Japanese product. And that's just it gimbal for my my Sony camera, my handheld. And that allows it to be gimbalized, and it does the settings and stuff on here. Snapseed. Snapseed is my number one photo editing app. So I've said the number one video editing app. By the way, the Android number one video editing app that I've found and some of our staff use and other people use is Power Director. I believe it's also on iPhone as well, but iMovie is my favorite. iMovie, you can split, you can fade in, fade out, you can split audio, take audio out, you can color correct, all that good stuff. Color correct to a extent.
Right.
Snapseed. Snapseed is the #1 photo editing program. I actually take the photo in manual, Camera Plus, or actually just the regular camera, because for the new iPhones or the latest iPhones, one of my favorite ways to take photos is portrait.
Yeah.
Which just does a blurred background behind you, just something you can get off a normal camera. But I really like that. So I'll take the picture in one of those 3 apps, and then I'll bring it into Snapseed. From Snapseed, I can add color, contrast, saturation, everything that I possibly want. I can crop, whatever. It's got tons of stuff. And then I have Enlight, which is just another camera app. Once in a while, you're like, wow, why does he have so many camera apps? It's like, well, once in a while you want a different filter, or you want a different style, or you want to do a time lapse off your phone. And you'd be surprised. Let me finish before I say the rest I was going to say. And then an app we found not too long ago, this past ice fishing season.
I've been using the hell out of it too.
MuseMage, if I'm even saying that right.
Yep.
It's a free app, photo and video, and it puts my favorite. I don't even know what this effect is, but this one I have up.
Oh, you gotta hit this little button.
So the lens filter, if you download MuseMage, it's free. It's under Adventure and Lens A03, and it puts this it really crushes the blacks.
Yeah.
And it puts this crushed black filter over the top that kind of makes it cinematic-y.
Yep.
And you film a video like that, and you put some cinematic bars, and I'm like, damn, I could almost film a TV show or a YouTube video off of this app, and it would look
really good.
Awesome. And at the end, I would say, filmed on an iPhone, what up? It's awesome.
Dude.
And there's so many effects and all that stuff on here.
An iPhone, Batman, the one with Bane, Dark Knight Rises, I believe. Yeah. A lot of that was shot with an iPhone.
I think I've heard the same thing, but I don't know if I believe it. But
not a lot. I shouldn't say a lot of it, but a lot of kind of the close-up shots and stuff were shot with an iPhone 6S.
Interesting.
Or a 6, one of the two.
So
yeah, pretty cool.
So those are the photo and video apps that I currently have on my phone. I've also just switched phones not too long ago. I also have my Galaxy side and my iPhone side, and I kind of swap back and forth because sometimes I'm feeling one or the other. But so I don't have all the apps that I usually have on here, and sometimes I put an app on here and it just sits and I don't even use it. And it's just like, okay, I might as well not have that camera app.
Yeah, I've done that with some different video editors, and gonna go use them, and there's something about them, they're just not real.
Some of them are cheesy,
user friendly.
Yeah, cheesy, user friendly. But let me tell you what, if there's anyone out there looking to just crush some awesome YouTube content or Facebook content,
or even just get still photos
from a photographer and videographer, your phone is just a tool that's in your pocket every day that you can literally get so much with, just as long as you know how to use it, the tool. And the tool, of course, is your phone.
And if you were to recommend one app for the iPhone user for video and editing, would it be MuseMage?
Okay. Let's check
for one.
So I have to do 2 because
you're the pro nerdy camera photography guy.
I have to do
off stuff that I probably wouldn't even want to download.
I have to do 2 for photo and 2 for video because one, iMovie, I don't think you can even film in. It's literally just an editor. So you have to import your footage in.
Right.
So
but that
I
comes
would
standard.
Yeah. If I was gonna do some cinematically fun stuff, I would get MuseMage to film some fun video stuff. And
camera.
Hold the fun bus right here.
Are you in video or still?
So, if I was going to film you, I'm gonna film this. I'm gonna just drop this this clip here
Cool.
over the top of my video stuff. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to try and put this video over the top of it if I can remember. But
Right.
if you can see the crush contrast in the color. But so then I would take that, and it says filmed on MuseMage at the end of your video. So I would bring that into iMovie, and I would instantly cut that last 20 seconds, 10 seconds off.
You yelled at me for that before.
Yeah. I would instantly cut that off, and then I would add like fade into the music, fade out to the music, or fade into the audio, fade out to the audio. And I wouldn't do any color correcting because the MuseMage did that exactly what I wanted for filter wise. And then I would maybe add some text, depending, matters on what it is. And then I would render it out at 1080. So then I have it as 1080 or whatever your phone renders out, and mine 1080. So that would be video. Photo, I would actually just either use the basic camera app or Camera Plus. Or manual camera. I would use one of those. It doesn't matter. Whatever one you want. And then I would then bring it into Snapseed and do all my colors.
Yeah.
So it would be two each. It's one to take it, video or photo, and one to edit, video or photo. And that's what I would...
I messed around when I didn't really get into a whole lot of the video stuff and until I joined Fish Addictions and stuff. But with photography apps, I used to use Camera Plus all the time. I would use it to take, create the photo. I'd also use some of their filters. They have some good filters and some good features and editing and photo editing stuff in it. I'd get it how I kind of wanted it there. And then from there, I would take it into Snapseed and even fine tune it, an already altered image, and even fine tune it more in Snapseed. I have some photos that I've done where I've used 4 or 5 different apps just for one photo.
Make the
just to play around with it.
Here, I have let's see here. So I have I'll drop this photo in the video. It's a photo from Canada of Anthony and Tony, and they got a fish. I took this with just the basic camera.
Mm-hmm.
And then
the phone that Aaron has right now is the iPhone 7S
7
or
Plus.
7 Plus.
And then I will then upload this photo after, and that's just the clarity difference in just basic color grading and color editing in a photo from that to that. And of course that's fine. A lot of people will just end it right there with the photo, but
right.
I like to take most of mine just one more step.
Right.
Step further.
And you have
and
years of photography background. I guess,
like for instance, here's a picture of Oliver that Haley took when I was gone in Canada, and then she sent it to me and I sent that back, and you can just tell the difference between the two photos in 30 seconds of work.
If you're comfortable with it, you should load that up into the YouTube of this.
Yeah, I can put that up there.
That's
it's just this is everyone who's listening or watching, powerful tool, your phone, just as long as it's somewhat of a current phone that shoots 1080 or has some sort of good megapixels. And there's actually better cell phone cameras than mine out there, and I kind of get jealous of it because I like taking photos and videos.
I was just gonna ask you, I
don't know if it's the Google Pixel has better. I don't know. There's a couple out there.
I know the LG has a really strong camera.
The Samsung I had, great photos and videos as well.
And it's almost like I've had this conversation about smartphones with other people. Like back in the day, cell phones, it was all about what brand of cell phone. Oh, you have a Motorola, you have a Nokia, and it's kind of still that. But to me, it's more, well, what operating system are you in? And like for me, I'm hoping to get my hands on a 8 Plus, and the only reason I want it is for the damn camera. That's the only reason why I typically upgrade my iPhones because when I'm out shooting episodes or photos and videos, being a photographer, and if I don't have a physical camera on me, this is my next best thing. Yeah,
and this is awesome. I see there's photographers out there in the world that only shoot on their phone, and they're called iPhone photography, phone photography, whatever. Like you go to
Just as I was-
Instagram,
yeah.
type it in, and there's tons of photographers that they live off just their phone, and they can make it happen because they're creative.
Yeah.
And this is such a good tool that everyone who's out there that wants to get sponsors, work with companies, or just improve their overall photos or videos in the social media world, make sure you sit down, do some research on your phone and what you can do. Even getting a couple dollar, like clamp that can hold your phone, so you can. And then there's like the manual app has like a timer, so you can clip it to your ice house, back up, hold the fish, boom, you just took a photo of it, and you didn't have to have another camera guy there or camera person there. And there's just so much you can do with your phone. There's wireless mics you can get to attach to it if you wanted to start phone vlogging, where you can do vlogs with your phone. A lot of technology here. It's just a matter of who wants to take it to the next level by actually using it. But I do want to say, pet peeve of mine, if you're ever
Here we go.
if you're ever
Listen up.
doing video, please do not
So important.
please do not film up and down like
Portrait.
this. Yes, please turn your phone to landscape mode. I don't know how many YouTube videos are out there where it's
Horrible.
like this is filmed up and down. Please turn your phone. This is how you view it on a TV screen. This is how you should film it for your TV screen or for your computer. Now, I know Facebook Live is like this, and it moves it for you. I also know that Snapchat is like this, and those are fine. When that's how it is, then that's fine. But if you're ever going to tape something for social media or for personal home videos, you want to film like your kid's
even
first
my-
walk,
even when I
turn the
take-
camera.
Even when I take still photos, I turn my phone landscape.
Yeah, I mean, for photos is a little bit different. Photos, again, hence what you said, portrait and landscape, the two different styles. There's no such thing as portrait video, at least in my mind. It might be somewhere out there in the world, but in my mind, there's no such thing.
Yeah.
Photos, though, portrait,
Unless you take your big screen, your 55-incher, and you
Yeah.
put her up on the
and it's that stuff's out there, like at airports and stuff, or menus. They have it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But for photo-wise, landscape, portrait, and you can go from there and figure out exactly, because if you're taking a picture of a person, again, hence portrait, or if you're taking landscape, hence landscape, and so that's a little bit about. I guess it was a long little bit, but smartphone photography in the fishing industry or the hunting industry, if you want to take your game to the next level for social media aspects or reasons, or for personal home videos, or for your family, or for if you want to even these take good enough quality photos to hang a picture on the wall.
Absolutely.
Make sure to learn a few new tips and tricks to really dial in exactly what you want to make it happen. And it all comes down to how you hold your fish, the angle, what's in focus, what's not in focus, what filter you put over it, or what actual color correcting or color grading you do to it. There's just so much out there. And I actually, if anyone has questions, please hit me up because I can help you. And I'll always learn from someone. I'm never going to be like, oh, this is how it should
this
be.
is the gold standard.
This-
Yeah.
I'm always going to learn. Someone can come and tell me a new app. I would love for someone actually to tell me a new cool app that I don't have, that I didn't mention off, because I would love to download it and give it a try, see if it can't take some of my stuff to the next level.
Right.
We tell our staff at Fish Addictions, because we do fishing reports and stuff like that, we help them in different ways. And in general, that's what I'm here for, is to help. And that's a great subject. And maybe one day, we'll do it again, same talk, but a little bit different on
Get a
other
little bit more
situations.
in
Maybe
depth.
I talk more camera detail if people have DSLRs or whatever. But so that's
I think
that.
the important part with practice. Just practice with your smartphone. I mean, you use it every day, but after getting just a few little tips right there, just me personally, I would encourage people to definitely practice with the timer. I can't hold a fish and do the phone thing at the same time. I want to get a good picture, so I've learned to use the timer. You can set it for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds. And then the other tip that I can give, being a non-professional photographer, don't just snap one picture and call it good. You're holding the fish. Snap a half a dozen of them. Move it around Move it around. Move that fish around. Get different angles. You know,
Yep.
it may only take you like 15, 20 seconds to do it,
It's a definition of being creative.
but you'll
Be
you know,
creative. Have an eye for something different than something different and unique that someone else isn't going to already do. Like me, take a picture of you right here. Bit creative, maybe take a picture of the microphone. Take a picture of the microphone and have you kind of blurry in the background, and
Right.
that would be a sweet little mixed podcast. And next to it, we could put your name,
Yeah.
or some just something stupid and creative. You have to change up your game. But
And
I will
Yeah, you don't take pictures. You create pictures.
create pictures.
I remember I took a photography class in,
It's art.
in college. You create them. You set it up.
Yep.
Whether you're just holding a 3-pound walleye, it's nothing special. But you want to capture that
set the
moment.
stage, create it.
Yeah, one of my
It's
favorite
art.
angles is kind of going the down-up angle.
Ooh, the female's worst. They don't like the chin shots. They like up to down.
That's
For
a
chin
cool angle
shots.
as well. I just
I,
don't like to get a whole lot of background in, just because I'm a fisherman.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You be creative. Like, all cameras are designed and built for basic.
Right.
Cameras are designed not to take the picture and it's done. Here you go. Here's the print. I'm gonna frame it. It's done. It's over with. No. They're designed. That's why you shoot in RAW, or at least I shoot in RAW, because it's designed for you to then take it into post production and take some time and some love and really tweak it to how you want it, whether that's post production on your phone or post production on the computer.
Right.
Another tip I want to throw out there / pet peeve
Oh boy.
is, and I'll add a photo maybe in the video of this. Adding drama and grunge and ambience to your photos to an over-the-top level. And what that means is, so for HDR,
High dynamic range.
high dynamic range. So when you see high dynamic range, usually it's 3 different.
You do not want a white halo around.
Yes, or
High five.
or not even. There's so much more added on to that too, from just from the outline of the human or person to just the way the clouds look, overly processed.
It gets blown out.
Overly processed. Like, it just looks like you literally processed the hell out of
Because-
that photo.
Correct me if I'm wrong. With a DSLR, to do an HDR shot, high dynamic range, you have your camera. If you set it up right, it takes 3 pictures.
3 at minimum.
Takes 3
can
at
go-
minimum, up to like 6 or 9 or.
Yeah, you can go pretty crazy with it. I do 3 to 8, and that allows me
But
to
it's-
get a high dynamic range.
For the basic 3, there's one at.
-303 would be a great start.
Yep. And what
So-
it does is it in
Yes.
Photoshop, in RAW.
Photoshop, Lightroom, there's
Yeah,
apps that stitch
you
them
take
together. Some
these
some
3
cameras stitch them together right
and
on
you
the
stitch
thing.
them together, and that's how you get those.
So you
these
take
cool
a
HDR shots.
dark photo, a photo that you think is good lighting, and then a bright photo, and it takes all 3 layers and it smashes them together. And you got yourself a photo. Then you need to go edit the photo.
Yeah, you need to adjust
And
levels. from
typically that the camera has to be on a tripod, or at least super steady for the shots, because there can't be a change in movement of
there.
anything.
The moral of the story is, do not take HDR shots with your cell phone camera.
Well, iPhones, when you swipe over,
You can.
it has an option up there for HDR, and it does a little work, but it's more of the over processing. The few people I've seen that, and there was a time like a year and a half ago when it was hard, and all I want to do is comment and be like, dude, this is so over processed. It's just, which again, maybe that's what they were going for, but it's so chemically over processed that it just doesn't look good. I mean, now there are a few people I know that do it, and that might be their style, and I'm not complaining to them people at all. It's art, and what you do is what you do with your own thing. But just make sure if you are editing a photo, you don't overdo it to the point where it looks fake or unnatural. Unless that's what you're going for, then that's perfectly fine. But that's another pro tip. But man, let's knock out a couple before we finish here. Let's knock out a couple
Well,
things. What do we got written down? We did. Hey, that was a good talk on smartphone photography, and whatever
we could go for hours on that.
Oh
shit.
yeah, I could talk. I could help you.
You gave us like I was almost to be like Aaron. Whoa. I'm talking about the common dude like myself that's gonna listen to this. Be like, what apps? Holy shit! I gotta get 9. No, I was asking like just one for the basic user, for one for video,
iMovie,
one for
MuseMage, Camera Plus, and
Snapseed.
There's
all you need
four
for right
four
now.
apps to give it a
When
shot.
you really get into it, then you could start going all Aaron on it. And getting all this
you can get crazy
shit.
with it. That's like it's an art. Do what you want. That's the whole good thing is that no one controls you. Just do whatever you want.
And then just practice. Have fun with it.
Since we got 20 minutes left here, since we're gonna make the 20 minutes with the few topics we have left here, let's episode 5 we had Mike Olson.
Yeah.
And this hat that I'm wearing, this hat right here.
I don't even have one of those yet.
We're giving that away, and it's crazy because I know we had people that viewed the episode 5. I know people loved episode 5, and we had people comment about episode 5, video and just audio podcast, but only one person followed directions to win the hat, and that one person is, drum roll,
Cody Sedlar. If I
Cody
butchered,
Sedler. Sedler or Sedlar. Sedler sounds better. I don't, or more right. I don't know. But he has liked and commented on a lot of stuff, and I think he's a top fan. And he followed directions. So if Cody, we're actually not gonna post the winner of the hat on our page. He's going to have to watch this podcast to, I mean, if he doesn't watch it, we'll eventually just give it to him, right? But it would be cool if we know he's as hardcore as he is by listening to our podcast.
I have a feeling he's trying to get at it right now.
Yeah.
If he could.
I think someone commented and said the number and the rate that you guys keep putting these podcasts out, I really enjoy it. Was that him or someone else?
That was, I think that was Tony.
Okay, so I'll eventually post it on the Facebook page, but you contact us in a personal message, and we will get your address, and we will send a hat out to you. Congratulations, you won.
Nope, that was Cody also.
That was also Cody?
Yep.
So, yeah, Cody said the rate that these keep coming out makes me very happy. So, awesome. He's a hardcore fan, so he's going to get a free $30 hat. I think it's $30. So congrats, keep following, thank you, and it's that easy. He just listened to the podcast or watched the podcast. He followed directions and he won something. Now, if you go to 6.5 and 6, episode 6 and 6.5, we're also giving away tackle from Bob Boland. Ooh. Again, you have to just follow some directions. This is just some of it. He's sending us some more, so follow directions, and
I love his packaging.
We're gonna try
very discreet,
very discreet, and we're definitely gonna keep giving away stuff. Hopefully, the more guests we have, the more stuff we give away. Also, we will get that hat out, and we'll eventually give the giveaway to the tackle once we get our stickers made. Because I think a free sticker or something fun for that.
I'm working on that.
Thrown in there. So congrats to who was it? Cody. Congrats to Cody. For winning the Fish Addictions hat. Thanks for supporting, and hopefully you like all the Fish Addiction stuff. Keep supporting us there. Brand new hat. Oh, also,
big announcement.
Yeah, Fish Addictions. Back to Fish Addictions. Fish Addictions TV. If you go to our Facebook page and click the Shop Now button.
Oh yeah.
We now have a brand new 2017 line of nine or 10 items, hats, sweatshirts, female stuff, kids stuff, shirts, sweatshirts, and eventually we'll have our ice fishing stockings up. They're not up yet. And for the next 2 weeks, now this will be out with maybe a week left. There'll be a week left when this video hits the surface. And there's a discount code to get 10% off for one more week. And it is Addicts 10.
Yeah, that's
You
it.
use Addicts 10, and we posted it on the Fish Addictions Facebook page as well, so you can just go there. Addicts 10, load up your gear, support your fishing addiction as well as our fishing addiction support. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the support. 10% off. Just because it's a brand new shop, we just released a bunch of items, so
Someday Broken Line will have their own shop too, but that's
Yeah.
a ways out.
that's another day.
I wanted to give a huge thank you to our very first sponsor.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
This is
here's the
big.
thing: is that we are open to anyone out there in the ice fishing community, or even not even in ice fishing or fishing, like Raphael's Bakery. Anyone
Listen
who
up.
wants to sponsor our show, let us know. Definitely the first year is going to be light. We're going to try and get as many episodes out there as we can, but it's season 1, and we know we're not going to crush a bunch of viewers and stuff, but so far from what we've heard, people have said our podcasts are interesting and good. So if you know anyone or anyone wants to, hit us up on social media, send us a personal message, and we can get you a shout out to our podcast audio and podcast video with your logo and get you as a sponsor of the Broken Line.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool. Like, we already have people contacting us.
Yeah,
that
and
wants to get in there.
Our first company sponsor is
Yeah, what's that company? You're friends with them. I'm friends with them.
it's Ice Strong Titanium Spring Bobbers. Matthew Strong.
He
He's a good friend.
yeah, he's a good guy, and I think
I've been using his springs for quite a few years now. And
so. Yeah, he does
and that's-
titanium spring bobbers.
yeah, that's another subject we'll get into in
Yeah,
another podcast.
I definitely, with the amount of time we have left in this one, I don't want to get. I just want to throw a mention out there to him. We will try to get him on the show.
Oh,
He
yeah.
doesn't live here, so we'll have to get him here. And then we're also going to give away some product. Again, sponsor. We're going to give you guys a little taste of, the love that we have. And, we're also going to get into talking about it and stuff like that. So that's for another episode, but
Big thank you to
thank you
Ice
to,
Strong Titanium Spring Bobbers, Matthew Strong and Laura Strong. Thank you very much for
they're good.
contributing to this madness.
They're good guys. Look them up on their social media as well. Good guys. Husband and wife. They're both married, right?
Yeah.
Husband and wife. And look them up. And if you're ever interested in any, it goes on spring bobber, right? So titanium. So awesome product, but you have to kind of, I guess, see what it is to know really what we're talking about. And
yeah, the term spring bobber is kind of old now. It's a strike indicator.
goes on the end of your pole.
Yep, it's for
It's
really
very lightweight
very
for finicky
sensitive.
bites, sensitive bites.
It's a technical yet easy piece to use. In addition to any ice rod, it will definitely help you get the fish that most people are missing. And it takes a little bit of practice, but we'll get into that. And if you go to their website, I do believe there is some tips on there as well. I believe I'm even on their website. I did a video how to mount one of these spring bobbers on an ice rod.
So
but,
it's
yeah.
www.fishicestrom.com.
Strong.com.
And
we'll put a link up
I can put a link up.
in the YouTube.
But appreciate it. Shout out to them, and we'll definitely get more into them as the season goes,
Yeah.
for sure. All right, if we had one more topic to talk about, what would it be?
Oh,
And we'll save the other ones for the next cast.
man, you know what? I made some killer scrambled eggs because I watch a lot of Master Chef. I made Gordon Ramsay's scrambled eggs, butter and sour
Okay,
cream.
shout out to Gordon Ramsay. If he ever, no, he's not gonna hear this, but if he,
Hey, we're worldwide.
yeah,
on
we're
iTunes.
worldwide for sure. He
No.
is my idol for food, and we both have love for the food. We both have love for cooking. We both enjoy cooking, and man, I watch all. He's got so many shows out there, and right now he's doing all these like YouTube videos where it's like super high production, and he shows you how to cook like one or two things with his recipe. And literally an hour and a half ago, I shared a video of how to make the perfect American breakfast and it was he took a potato, peeled it, then took a cheese grater, grated the potato. Then he took an onion, grated the onion through the cheese grater. Then he took all of that into a strainer and just squished all the juice and water out, dumped that out. Then he put a hot pan on a stove, olive oil. Then he made a nice thin layer of the potato and onion on the griddle there. And then he put butter along the outside so it would kind of caramelize the onions. And he was kind of shaking it around. Let that cook. Then he would take a big plate, put it on top, flip it over, and then slide it back in to the pan. So now he's doing hash browns if you haven't got that yet. He's doing hash browns. And then he takes 4 or 5 eggs, cracks them, puts them on top, throws them into the oven, and puts them in the oven. Then he works on the bacon. And he takes bacon, brown sugar, salt, and I think that might be it. And then he cooks it up. Salt, brown sugar, and the bacon, and maybe one other thing, but I think that's it. And then he, there might even been a little paprika somewhere in the hash browns as well for a little kick. And then he fries up the bacon in like the brown sugar, salt action. And then he takes it back out of the oven, and it's just a nice big plate of hash browns with 4 or 5 cooked eggs over easy on top. And then he lays the bacon over the top of it, and then he says, "That's why America has the best breakfast in the world."
Damn.
And then he sets it down, and I'm like drooling.
Yeah, but knowing you and me, we'd be like, "Oh, that looks good. I'll bet you'd be really good wrapped in an egg roll wrap."
Oh yeah, deep fried. So I'm gonna make that one of these days because that's an easy thing. But let me tell you what, Gordon Ramsay's burger. He makes a burger and it's like a meatloaf burger. So I copy the exact thing and I make it, and it is the best freaking burger.
It's off the chain
ever. And I toast the bun. Ugh. And it's just good, you know.
I'm hungry, dude. Let's get out of here.
Should we get out of Taco Bell? No, not today. Gotta cook it up. All right, so that's a wrap on episode 7. We talked about a lot of interesting things from breakfast right there at the end. Actually dropped a mini recipe from Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, boom.
We talked about our new sponsor, Ice Strong Titanium Spring Bubbles. And we gave away the Fish Addictions hat.
Congratulations, Cody.
We talked about goose, ducks. Goose. It was a mix.
Gruesome.
Goose, ducks, and bucks.
Wow, that could have gotten vulgar.
Yeah.
Good job.
Say it 3 times fast.
Nope.
And we also talked about photography in the social media aspect from a phone's perspective.
Yeah.
And I think that's all we talked about. Yeah. Next episode, it looks like there's a couple good topics for us to hit on the paper. So,
should we give a little tease of our next guest? Maybe, perhaps. I'm just going to drop a hint.
Well, I don't know if we might get another cast in before.
Oh yeah, we'll probably get a couple more in, but
okay,
before
so
our next guest.
Yeah, so he'll drop a little hint on our next guest, at least the next guest that's planned. Hopefully, it all goes through great, and no one sneaks in before, and he doesn't drop out. But our next one,
is very. This isn't the hint, but he is very, very famous.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin Van Dam.
I'm gonna drop a real, distinct hint. And those that get this hint have been fans of his for many years because he hasn't done this in a long time. But I'm just going to throw it out right here. We go. 3, 2, 1. His best friend is a stick man. That's it.
That's the drop.
That's the hint.
I can throw my second hint into it is that I bought a pizza from him once, and I brought it home, and I sat down. And I opened up the pizza box to find a very big stick man drawn into the cardboard box, the beard and everything. It said like, "I love you, Aaron," or something. Well, no, that's just the artifacts on the.
Oh yeah.
The thing that he drew. He could have put a hat on there too. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But he's like, "I love fishing" or something, and then of course he signed it at the bottom. And then you think, I'm gonna throw this box away, or should I keep it?
Did you keep it?
I didn't keep it. But
maybe
I should have.
Maybe he'll bring us a
well,
pizza.
you know what he's gonna. because we've had all our guests sign our table. You know what he's gonna do? He's gonna sign the table with a stick man.
You bet. So there's your hint. His best friend is a stick man.
But end of podcast 7. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the last couple guests we've had. We kind of had to do a little solo run there, talk about a few different things, and we'll be back for another one. But I think that's a good way to end it right there.
Thank you all for listening, and
please. Yeah, quick shout out at the end here. Again, Facebook messages. Don't forget to share our Facebook, like our Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube. We're giving away giveaway stuff. As you saw today, we gave away the hat, and we're going to continue to give away stuff in future casts. This is just the beginning. We haven't even hit 10 podcasts yet.
Yeah, we're still growing. We're still trying to find our groove.
We're still just testing the waters, Just
Hilltop Studios may be in full effect for 30 years, might only be for the next 30 days. You never know.
Exactly.
Chrysler could call up, and Mercedes could be like, yeah, we want to host your deal, and we're going to build you a building downtown, 13th floor.
We're moving you to Los Angeles, move your whole family, paying you the big bucks.
No, I wouldn't go there.
Yeah, fishing there. It wouldn't work.
Mercedes could fly me from here to Los Angeles 3 times a day or 3 times a week.
That's a good,
because there's no ice fishing there, dude.
Yeah, exactly. We like the cold.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what, fall's here, fall's upon us. It's getting cold, and
we're gonna try for our 4th time to end this son of a gun.
Well, I just wanted to shout out that don't forget to send us questions. Hit us up. We want interaction, and we've said this on a bunch of them. Someone messaged us and said something to us about the Tabor's Bait thing, and we brought it to cast. So social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, I think Google Play now, iTunes. Get after us, hit us up. My name's Aaron.
My name's Patrick.
And this is
The Broken Line.
And this is
The Broken Line.
It's kind of a really awesome name, right? The Broken Line. You're talking about fishing, but when the line breaks, man, shit just gets unreal. Yeah.